Hi, my name is Lindsay Baker. I will be responding to the statements made by my debate partner regarding her opinion on abortion, which is pro-choice. Every controversial issue has two sides, and it is important to educate yourself on both sides of each issue. First of all, I would like to discuss the most common argument that pro-choice individuals claim that supports abortion, which is when pregnancy results from rape or incest. Abortions due to rape and incest account for less than 1% of all abortions in the United States, and with the proper treatment can be prevented. Rape and incest are often lumped together in these arguments, yet they are not synonymous. Though it's hard for most of us to comprehend, some instances of incest may be consensual. A baby conceived in such a situation may be aborted to avoid family shame, out of fear of a genetic abnormality, or due to the oddity of having a child that doesn't fit well in a convoluted family tree. A child is a child, regardless of the circumstances of their conception. Rape is a violent crime resulting in a deeply wounded victim. In defending the life of the unborn child, we must be careful not to minimize the harm inflicted on the mother. The act is horrible and offensive, and it is emotionally, physically, and sometimes spiritually debilitating to women. In my opinion, the perpetrator should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for forcing himself on a female. However, rape is never the fault of the child, and that innocent party should not be punished. I agree that it is not fair when a woman who is raped has to face the crisis and hardship that comes with an unplanned pregnancy. In fact, it is a tragedy. But does that give her or anyone else the moral right to kill an innocent human being? Of course not. Yet, pro-choice individuals find it morally acceptable to kill an unborn child who is an innocent third party conceived from a rape. All unborn children at every stage of development should be offered an equal right to life, regardless of how they were conceived. Abortion certainly does not bring help to a rape victim either. Others may argue that forcing a woman to give birth to the child who was conceived from a rape would remind her of the attacker. However, since when did we decide it was okay to kill another human because they reminded us of a painful event? Do we honestly have the right to kill someone because seeing them may be painful? When someone says that a woman cannot raise a child who was conceived in a rape, I think it is demeaning to women in general. Are women not strong enough to conquer a difficult situation or overcome the negative impact of rape? Do they not have the will and compassion to love the child despite the pain of this horrible crime? Do they not have the power to turn an act of evil into an act of grace? Women are far stronger than what they receive credit for in terms of this argument. Secondly, unwanted pregnancies were provided as an argument to pro-life, specifically when the parents are unable or unfit to care for the child. This is actually the number one reason why babies are aborted, because the parents simply don't want the child. Every child is wanted by someone. Adoption is an alternative that avoids the burden of child raising, while saving a life and making a family happy. There are 1.5 million families in the United States that are wanting to adopt a child. Although adoption may not guarantee the child a better life, it does guarantee them a life when abortion cruelly ends their life before it even starts. Deeming something unwanted is not a condition of the child, but instead an attitude of the adults affected. It is extremely unfair to kill unwanted children. Simply saying that a child is more likely to be abused because they were unwanted is false. Most abused children were wanted by their parents since day one. The number of child abuse cases has not decreased since abortion became illegal. In fact, it has dramatically increased. It is illogical to say that a child is protected from abuse through abortion when abortion is child abuse. Financial struggles were also stated to be a reason to have an abortion. The conception of a child should never be deemed an inconvenience or a financial constraint. Essentially, when pro-choice individuals argue on behalf of the cost of a child, they are saying that since the baby will be too expensive, they have the right to kill it. In other words, I want you to think about this. If the mother has a toddler, why not kill them? The toddler is likely more expensive than the baby. The mother would save more money by killing the toddler than the unborn child. There are children that live in poverty every day. Does that mean the mother of these children has the right to kill them since she can't afford to raise them? No, of course not. That is absurd and heartless. No amount of financial hardship is sufficient rationale for killing another human being, especially an innocent child. There are pregnancy crisis centers all over the country that function to help women emotionally and financially throughout their pregnancies in order to carry them to term, and if needed, to place the child up for adoption. When help is needed, help can certainly be found. Lastly, the safety and potential health complications for the mother was mentioned as a consequence of giving birth to a child. Prior to the legalization of abortion, 90% of abortions were done by physicians in their offices, not in the streets. It is a false statement to say thousands of women were dying from illegal abortions prior to it becoming legal. When women continue to die from legal abortions every day in the United States. Even if abortion was made illegal again, abortions would continue to be done with modern medical equipment, not with clothes hangers, as people say it does. As a country, we cannot continue to allow procedures to be legal that kill the innocent just to make the killing process less dangerous. Contrary to popular belief, abortion is not safer than full-term pregnancy or childbirth. Though a woman's chances of having a safe abortion is greater, the number of women who suffer following abortion is also greater due to the huge increase in the number of abortions. Abortion can lead to many serious health problems, including infection, hemorrhage, clots, cervical or ovarian cancer, uterine perforation, cervical lacerations, placenta previa, subsequent preterm deliveries, and other labor complications, as well as handicapped newborns in later pregnancies, ectopic pregnancies in the future, pelvic inflammatory disease, endometriosis, and even death. Often, women are not warned about or are completely unprepared for the psychological consequences of abortion. Research shows that abortions result in adverse psychological effects from women, including suicidal thoughts, mood disorders, social anxiety disorders, and alcohol or substance abuse. Abortions are not easy and certainly not pain-free. The various abortion procedures are often difficult and painful for the women, the unborn child, the clinic workers, and other family members as well. Even if abortion was painless and easy for everyone, it would not change the bottom line. Abortion kills innocent children. It is extremely rare for an abortion to be required to save a mother's life. Abortion to save the mother's life and abortion to improve the mother's health are usually not the same issue. In the case that 2 lives are threatened and only one can be saved, doctors are required to save that one life. Abortion advocates believe that killing an unborn child is an acceptable way to treat physical or mental disabilities. Even a doctor's diagnosis can be wrong on occasion. Deformities are often minor in unborn children, and the medical tests to determine these deformities typically cause just as many problems as they can detect. Simply because a child is handicapped, that does not mean they won't be happy, precious, and delightful individuals. In our society, handicapped children are often seen as a social liability. The argument to kill an unborn handicapped child is only valid if it also applies to killing born people who are handicapped. Abortions done due to probable handicapped children robs the world of a unique human being who would have significantly contributed to society. There are children of all ages, and adults too, who are alive today and are living through all sorts of diseases and disabilities. Do these limitations make them less human? The effectiveness of contraceptives was discussed in favor of pro-choice as well. This argument is true. A single form of contraceptive is not 100% effective at all times. Abstinence can prevent pregnancy entirely, but is often unrealistic. However, new forms of contraceptives are being developed every year in order to reduce the number of unwanted pregnancies and abortions. Overall, as a result of this debate, I have increased my pro-life beliefs and will continue to be an advocate for the unborn children who do not have a voice. Thank you.